Apúrate que van a empezar. Apúrate que van a empezar. Ah,
Uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos.
sí, muy bien.
Ok.
Se me fue por un momento.
Vamos a ver si las horas.
Ok,
No, ni se han sentado.
ya dijeron que estaban grabando.
No, porque así ese mensaje aparece al nomás,
¿No?
al nomás entrar.
Ok.
Welcome to the Ravenswood City School District Regular Board Meeting of August 27, 2026. We'll call this meeting to order at 6:21 p.m. Please forgive the tardiness. We had a special study session that ended, not too many minutes ago. So thank you for those who attended, and thank you for your patience for waiting on the start of this regular board meeting. That said, you look lovely. Have I said that today? Thank you for being here. Well done. Okay, we are on item 1B, the roll call. So trustee Tavera.
Present.
Thank you. Trustee Nunez.
Here.
Trustee Varghese Bloom.
Here.
Trustee Latu.
Present.
And I myself, trustee Shabomaheen, am present, and we have quorum, and we are rolling. We're on item 1C, approval of the agenda. Do we have any questions or comments regarding the agenda?
Through the chair, there's a note that we're tabling item 4.
Okay, superintendent, we need to pull item 4. We're going to table it for the next meeting. So that's item 4A1 and 4A2. Okay. Anything else? If not, I imagine we have no speakers about the agenda. Okay. Thank you, trustee. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with number 4 tabled.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. We are proceeding with this agenda with item number 4 tabled. All right, we are now on item 2A, comments from the floor. This is a time where folks can fill out a speaker card and speak on anything that is not agendized. If you want to speak on something agendized, you continue to fill out a speaker card, but it would be for that particular item and you speak at that time when we're addressing it. But for something not on this agenda, if you have something to say, now's your time. Trustee Varghese Bloom, do you have any speaker cards?
No speaker cards.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll keep it moving. We are on item 3A, board member comments and updates. Anything?
Through the chair, I believe there was a canopy event this weekend. Yeah. So I'm just prepping it for.
Yeah, so the chair, I just want to share that last Saturday, there was a canopy event where they highlighted their urban forest master plan that our city adopted in 2022, which I want to share that we are a proud contributor to that. I just really want to highlight that. If I'm not mistaken, there was 370 trees across our school sites in the past 18 months that we have participated in. I also want to give a shout out to Solomon Hill, who was there. Our principal, Alex Casala, was there. And then other community leaders, Vice Mayor Rika, and many other people. And so, yeah, I was there representing our board. Also, last week, 19th, we had our first teaching and learning subcommittee. I'm happy to share that we've established a monthly schedule and meeting cadence. So I want to highlight that. Oh, and one big highlight I want to share, those trees that we have, I just really want to share this there, that these trees will be giving shade for years and years and generations to come for students who are not even born yet and are not even registered yet. So I just think it's a great highlight. Yeah.
I wanted to continue congratulating everybody on the start of the new year. And then I wanted to shout out, I don't know if I can do this, but Donors Choose, who's a real MVP. And just the amount of support that our teachers at Ravenswood and elsewhere get through the site, and they are able to get all the things that they need for their classroom. And so all my teachers out there, if you don't have a Donors Choose, please always keep one up there because you don't know when it's going to get funded. And then at EPAA, we are very thankful for Ravenswood. We started our soccer season, and it's so nice to be able to walk around the block to our next door neighbors and use this amazing field and see us and our students know that that's their home field as well. And so I'm thankful for the collaboration and the work that goes behind getting that set up. So thank you, and I look forward to some soccer games in a few weeks.
Through the chair, we have a budget subcommittee meeting coming up. I believe it's
3rd of September, next week. If we're up. Oh yeah, Bellhaven's grand opening. I'll let Trustee Bloom talk more since she was our speaker extraordinaire.
I forgot that was after our last board meeting. Thought we had already covered it. But we had the Bellhaven grand opening for the community. So the kids have already enjoyed it for the building and the field and the playground. I will say the swings are great. I tried them out. The slide is great. I also tried that out. I jumped off the swing and didn't get hurt. So I also tried that out. The other thing, Superintendent Sudaria is much better at it. There's a spinning tree. So if you got a lot of arm strength, you can like hold on and like spin. Couldn't do that one. But Superintendent Sudaria could. So just putting that out there, guys. But it was such a wonderful experience. It was a lot of fun. It brought me a lot of joy, and I got to experience the joy, and I made a conscious effort to experience that joy and use these beautiful things that we have for our students and the kids. It was just a really fun event. We had a lot of people come and join us. Josh Becker, State Senator Josh Becker was there. He gave us a proclamation. Yes, he gave us a proclamation for it. We also had members of the Menlo Park City there, and we had our Boys and Girls Club staff there as well. Lots of partners that were there. Canopy was there too, I believe, because there's quite a few trees that are planted by Canopy there. And we will also be planting more trees there at a future date with Canopy because there's spots open for those trees to get planted. And also our principal Candace was there, and she spoke as well in welcoming families to the new space and the community to the new space. And so and of course, Vice Principal Stewart, I'm going to stick with Stewart. Thank you. Shirishi, I was close.
Stewart should get an extra PTO every time we pronounce his name.
That's only 1 of 5. That does not count. But I will say just the joy that you all have as well was there and it's palpable. And I really was excited to be there and celebrate you all and the work that you all have done. And especially Stewart, I know you were there and all the staff were there throughout all of the construction and moving halfway and all that. And so just such a beautiful place. And like I said, those spaces are so beautiful, and I'm so excited that we're able to finish that whole campus and excited for the next at Castano, which I think we'll hear more about later. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you for those updates and comments. We're on to item 3B, Superintendent's Report.
Yes, so we have a bunch of folks here who play a key role in making sure that after our study session conversation, how do we offload some things from our site leaders so that they can focus to be instructional leaders? But beyond just instruction, our campuses and our home office can't run without the leadership across all of our divisions. So I'm happy to be able to showcase our leaders. There's also a presentation that will have a link that you all can access, which is like a Facebook. So you'll be able to know who is who after the introduction today. I think
we've been asking for this for like 6 years.
And for the record, I think I also did something similarly at the beginning of the year last year as I was preparing for this. I was like, oh, yes, we did have this. But now you will have a link that I will forward to you. But the team is going to go ahead and showcase, and it'll help me make sure I don't forget some key players as well. First and foremost, behind the scenes, running around, making sure trustees have their documents, making sure we're coordinating things across our divisions. I first want to acknowledge our executive coordinator, Maria Pineda, which I do know you know who she is. Yes, she helps me keep my head on my shoulders. All right. From Human Resources, you know, our Chief Human Resources Officer, Joan O'Neill. And then we have our Assistant Director of Human Resources, Austin Batson. Our teaching and learning is quite large. We are led by Dr. Omar Curry, who you heard a few minutes ago. Then we have our Executive Director of Educational Services, Claire Chandler. And then we have our new Director of Strategy and Academic Operations, Rob Granados. We have new roles of Coordinator of Foundational Literacy, and also ELD, and then our coordinator of STEAM, we have Christina Chacon and Alina Zhang, respectively. And our program specialists to support with special education, Anisha Agrawal and Corinne Astrup, I don't think are here this evening. Okay, great. Bernadette Garcia, we'll make sure we get her profile picture to have you all reference later. We also have some other team members who are not here but play a critical role. Carla Valdivia, who is our special education analyst, our student services and equity analyst, Valeria Miranda, and I believe you know Gabriel Anguiano, longstanding employee with the district as our coordinator of family and community engagement. I don't have them on this list here, but I know they're here. We introduced also a similar slide to our new team members during orientation. I want to make sure that we acknowledge Kendra Gregg, who is our MTSS coach. As well. All right, anything else from teaching and learning? Friday. Finance team, small but mighty. Well, actually, HR is small and mighty. And our finance team is medium and mighty. We have our Chief Finance Officer, Jesse Latimerek. And we have our business analyst and compliance analyst, Margaret Thompson and Timmy Huang here. And helps us make sure we get our pay on time is Mariana Gale, our payroll specialist. I don't think she's here tonight. All right, one of our larger also divisions alongside teaching and learning is our operations, and that is led by our Chief Operations Officer, Solomon Hill. And then we have our Director of Technology, Mike Shaw. And of course, one who makes sure that we have our campuses clean, buses running, lawn mowed. There's so many options. There's so many things to work to manage here. Under MOT, our director is Delma Maciel. We have a new systems administrator under technology. Please meet Joanne Doria. And who helped us disaggregate this information that was presented to you today during study session is our data assessment coordinator, Kennedy Reed. And then to ensure that our families are well received on first impression of the district as they enroll, and making sure we manage our student enrollment and information system is our coordinator, Adriana Vasquez. And then our instructional leaders across our 4 schools. We'll start with the Ravenswood Middle School. We have Paige Richards, who you heard earlier this evening, as principal. And then we have our assistant principal, incoming assistant principal, Katrina Aaron and Julie Sosa. And our new role at the middle school of Dean of Students, Kim Cheadle. At Belhaven, you just acknowledged the site leaders, Candace Gonzalez as principal, Stuart Shirishi as assistant principal. Returning leadership at Costaño, Rhonda White as principal, Elizabeth Carriage as assistant to principal. And at Los Robles, Rhonda McNair, returning principal Alex Quesada, and our assistant principal moving from the middle school to Los Robles, Rhonda McNair, Kyle Tana. This is our management team for 26, 25, what year are we? I'm already ahead. 26, 27 school year. Well, we will be meeting those expectations. They're ready and we're ready to support them as well. So thank you to the team here. I would love to take a picture with our new governance team as well as as I'm also very excited that our governance team, we have 3 trustees who will be on the, are you undisputed, right? And will be joining us again for another 4 years. That is Dr. Tamara Shabomihin, Meleke Latu, and Laura Nunez. Shan, will you do the honors of taking our picture? Oh, yes! Don't hurt your knee.
Not back up on the chair. Don't go on the chair.
Aaron will come in a little bit and then the board will stand in front.
Okay, thank you so much for that update, Superintendent Sudaria. Thank you so much for that photo. Whew, okay. Earlier, when we approved the agenda, we took item number 4 off, so we are skipping that. We are on item number 5 now, which is 2 discussion items. The first at 5A, the presentation on the charter school renewal process. So Superintendent, hand it to you.
All right. Perfect. So Ravenswood currently authorizes 2 charters within our district boundaries: Aspire East Palo Alto Charter School and Kip Valiant Community Prep. Aspire began serving students in 2017 and currently enrolls approximately 530 students, TK through 8th grade, and then KIP began serving students in 2003 and currently enrolls approximately 449 students, also TK through 8th grade. Both charter petitions expire at the end of June 30th, 2027, and this is why we're beginning the renewal process now. Tonight's presentation is just to provide you an overview of the timeline and the state-defined performance categories, as well as information the staff will consider when preparing our findings and recommendations to the board for renewal. The state law establishes a specific timeline for charter renewal, and the board must take action within the 90 days of receiving a completed renewal petition. On the slide, you'll notice that Aspire submitted its renewal petition August 1st and KIP on August 14th. And we will conduct our site visits at each of the charters at Aspire in September and for KIP in October. The board will hold a public hearing for Aspire on September 24th and KIP on October 8th. And these hearings will provide an opportunity for the charter schools to share information about themselves, as well as their communities and members of the public to provide more input. And then staff's, a couple more points here, no worries. Staff findings will be provided to the board by October 7th for Aspire and October 28th for KIP. And the board is scheduled to consider action for renewal for Aspire on October 22nd, and then KIP's petition on November 12th. And so tonight, we're not asking you to take any action. It's just intended to ensure that the board and the greater community understand the process, as well as the opportunity for the community to review and provide input to the material and information shared. And then again, here, it states that there are 3 performance categories for charter schools: high, middle, and low. And these categories are determined primarily through the California dashboard data, including performance levels and outcomes for even the subgroups, student subgroups, in comparison to statewide averages. Based on the 2025 dashboard, KIP Valiant is identified as middle performing and is eligible for a 5-year renewal term. And Aspire is identified as low performing based on the California dashboard. And so a low performing charter may be renewed for 2-year only if it meets the conditions established by the code. The school must demonstrate it's taking meaningful steps to address the underlying issues, causes of low performance through board adopted improvement plan. And then the performance categories themselves don't constitute the board's final decision. So just want to keep that in mind, and it establishes kind of like a legal framework and criteria through which each renewal petition will be evaluated. And then the last slide is indicates what the staff report involves. And so the staff's report and recommendation will be informed by 3 primary concepts or components: the renewal petition, a site visit, and engagement with the charter schools, families, and staff. And again, we already mentioned the dates of when we're actually going to do the site visits. First, staff will conduct a detailed review of the renewal petition, including elements required by law. And this review will examine whether the petition presents a sound educational program, what student achievement data demonstrate, and whether the school is serving all students who wish to attend. And then staff will also analyze enrollment, attendance, student group outcomes, and other evidence provided. And for reference, the petitions are attached to this agenda item. And they're quite lengthy. I think there's like also 100+ pages of appendices. Yes, you're all nodding your head, you saw it, okay. Second, a selected group of Ravenswood staff members. As I mentioned, we'll actually do the observations. We do have executive team members who are scheduled to attend, as well as other staff from the teaching and learning. And this will allow us to just get an evaluation of the educational program and practices and compare what we observe with what is described in their petition. And then finally, Ravenswood will solicit feedback from the families and staff associated with both charters, and their perspective will just give more context about the school's program, their culture at the site, their responsiveness to students and families. And with all of these 3 resources or sources of information, we'll determine, we'll just support a thorough, fair, and evidence-based report for us to present to you for your consideration. Not sure if there's any.
Thank you for the overview, Superintendent Sudaria. This was just a discussion item, but of course, if there are comments or if there are any speakers, please feel free. Trustee Latu has a comment. Really quickly, I'm just going to say, no, actually, you go ahead first.
To the chair, I just wanted to highlight that I received 4 emails, 4 letters from family members of EPAC's members. So Mariela Mendoza, Jenny Viveros, Iris Cruz, and Navida Flores. I did receive your letters, and I shared it with the superintendent, just so that the other board members, if they didn't receive an email as well, they will also receive it.
I appreciate you mentioning that. I actually made the copy of all of those letters. Thank you for forwarding that to me. And so all the trustees do have a copy.
Thank you. And then I heard a question about Aspire, East Palo Alto Charter School, and regarding the improvement plan. So is that improvement plan, since they were reported as performing low, does that already exist, or they have to create one? And then when it is created, is that something we'll have access to?
My understanding, there will be part of the condition to renew the 2-year, that the plan will have to be established and created, and then we review over the 2 years.
Thank you. I'm sorry?
Can we, when we go through it, can we make sure it's established at the same time? So that, you know, we're not wasting a year waiting for a plan.
And in actuality, I imagine they're already working on that plan since the dashboard was this past year. So 2025 dashboard.
We do have 1 speaker, so I can call that person up. Sarahi Cordero. Sarai.
Excuse me 1 second. Are you watching the clock, or is trustee? Yep. Thank you.
Good evening, President, board members, superintendent, and members of the Ravenswood District. My name is Sarai Cordero, and I am a former student at Aspire East Palo Alto Charter. I attended from kindergarten to 5th grade, and now I am an upcoming sophomore in college at UC Riverside. My younger brother, Alexander Cordero, is also fortunate enough to be a 4th grader at EPACS. My self-esteem and belief that I can succeed academically and beyond started with my time at EPACS. I had amazing teachers that empowered me, and I was a part of a diverse community where everyone was seen and celebrated. Some of my favorite childhood memories include the annual celebrations EPACS holds for Hispanic Heritage Month, Black History Month, and AAPI Month. EPACS is a wonderful community that truly cares about student success and families' well-being. My younger brother is now having an incredible experience, and he continues to grow academically and socially every day. As we prepare for our upcoming charter renewal hearing, I invite you to visit EPACS and learn more about our school directly from our students, families, and educators. I would love for you to see the unique and beautiful community EPACS is. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my story and learning more about the EPACS community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to come here to our meeting and speaking on behalf of the school and your experience. Trustee Varghese, do you have more?
No other speakers.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the board or any superintendent, anything? Okay, well, did you share those dates for the site visits? Okay, we will just send it to us so we can roll if we're available. Thank you.
To that point, we could offer trustees to participate as well. So I'll make sure I share the dates, maybe the subcommittee, the teaching and learning
Yeah.
subcommittee.
I was gonna say, I think last time it was the teaching and learning subcommittee that went, but, or it might have been the president, vice president. I can't remember.
Is it something we can all go to? We're not just,
I think only two.
even if we're not discussing. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm trying to see how do we go. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for sharing those when you do. All right, so if there are no more comments, we're going to go on to item 5B, administrative regulations, board policies, and exhibits for first reading. This is 5B 1 through 7. So if we have any comments about any of these, they're just for first reading, but this is time to get clarification or ask questions about them. If there are none, and I'm not seeing any speaker cards over there, okay, we'll go on to item 6A, presentation on bond updates and next steps. So it's actually, yeah, 6A, not 6A1, because that's when we're going to consider it for approval. So, thank you.
Good evening. I am Shin Green of East Shore Consulting, municipal advisor to the district. I've served with the district here for the better part of 12, 13 years now. I am here tonight to present a presentation to you on the several action items you have under item number 6 this evening. Also with me this evening is Palak Tanji of the firm Oric Harrington, who is the bond counsel to the district. She'll be speaking specifically to some of the actions that will be taken tonight. We have a presentation here that we'd like to kind of just go over just to frame everything. And once we're done with our presentation, we'll allow you to take action on each of those items without any further ado. If there are questions, happy to come back up and answer. Just as a brief overview, first and foremost, congratulations to the district. Over 69.95% of the voters in Ravenswood approved Measure A, the 4th successful bond measure in the past decade, authorizing an additional $70 million in general obligation bonds to continue the process of improving the district's facilities, which has been well underway for the last decade. In total, the community has authorized over $276 million to support facility improvements at Ravenswood schools. In June, after preliminary election results for Measure A were received and indicated sufficient support for approval, you did take several actions as a board to prepare for next steps. That included the approval of an estimated bond repayment schedule to the county, which allows Measure A to have a tax levy on the current 26-27 tax roll. Also, the approval of the submission of a bonding capacity waiver to the State Board of Education. Because of all of the bonding activity that's done, we are up against that limit at the code section. We need to have that code section waived. That will be considered at the September 10th or 11th meeting of the State Board of Education. At this meeting tonight, you will be taking actions to clear the pathway for the issuance of the Measure A bonds, as well as allowing for the refinancing of prior bonds of the district. Those actions will include certification of the Measure A election results, approval of a Measure A Citizens Oversight Committee bylaws, acceptance of an underwriter's G17 regulatory disclosures, and 2 resolutions, one approving Measure A bond issuance and one approving the issuance of refunding bonds. Very quickly, here's just a visual representation of the 4 active measures of the district. Any prior measures have been fully repaid, so these are only the ones that are outstanding. Going back to 2016, Measure H, 2018, Measure S, 2022, Measure I, and our current 2026 Measure A. Again, thank you to the community for their support and approval of those measures. Speaking on Measure A, the election of 2026, here you'll see the actual ballot language that was presented to voters. And it is to essentially continue our process of improving all of the campuses here within the Ravenswood City School District. It authorized a tax rate of up to $27.50 per 100,000 of taxable, not market value, which tends to be taxable value tends to be lower than market value, and was looking to last about 27 years with an average annual repayment cost of about $4.9 million. All the funds will be spent locally, no money for salaries, and it was approved again by more than the 55% required under Prop 39. So again, congratulations. We authorized the issuance of Measure A here, or we designed the issuance of Measure A really to be issued as a single series at that $27.50 tax rate. At the time of the election, we had estimated the amount of repayment to be $128.5 million, and that assumed a tax-based growth of 3% per year. Again, we are issuing this as a full series of current interest bonds. We'll access all of Measure A with that issuance, leaving none left over. And we do anticipate that this will likely be one of the final series of new money bonds that the district issues for the foreseeable future. We do want to note that because it was approved under Prop 39, there are requirements with Measure A. They are the same as your previous measures also approved under Prop 39, and they include the establishment of a Citizens Oversight Committee to review the expenditure of bond proceeds, as well as the performance of annual fiscal and performance audits, which are conducted of the expenditures of the measure. So we'll continue that kind of work with Measure A. We've done that with Measure I and H and S in the past. Here you will see a rough timeline of our intended process with the intention of completing this issuance process in October of 2026. And at that point in time, we will have been through the rating process, through all the issuance, pricing, setting of interest rates, and funds will be available in October to continue projects from Measure A. So very quickly here on the next steps, to move the issuance forward, there are a number of next steps, and we have taken a number of those previously, and a number will be taken tonight, really again with the goal of completing by October. Previously in June, you may recall, the district approved the submission of a estimated debt service to the county to establish that 2627 levy in support of Measure A. That does allow us to pay principal more rapidly, lower the overall borrowing cost, make it less expensive for the community. Additionally, the district's rapid pace of construction, again, has put you up against that bonding capacity limit. And so we do have that waiver in place as well. And at this meeting, we will take the remaining steps necessary to formally authorize the issuance of Measure A bonds. Real quick, as any bond is dictated by the tax base, here you'll see just a history of the tax base going through 25, 26. And on the right side, we provide computation of the bonding capacity limit, both at the statutory 1.25% and at the waiver requested limit that we put in the State Board of Education of 2.17%, showing you how that these bonds, in addition, this additional $70 million of bonds will fit within that 2.17% limitation. And so tonight I would highlight our actions are really kind of in two camps. One are what we're going to call ministerial actions, sort of things to check the boxes that must be done for voter approved measures and for the issuance of bonds. And then the other one is sort of the formal approval of the bond issuance, of which there are two pieces, one being the Measure A, the other being the refinancing. Very quickly on the ministerial actions, we will be certifying the election results tonight for Measure A. You have that as action 6A1. And once we have approved 6A1, it does start the clock ticking for formation of an oversight committee. But you do have item 6A2, the approval of the Citizens Oversight Committee bylaws, so we can get that process underway immediately after this meeting. You do have an existing Citizens Oversight Committee. They are allowed to carry on and serve as the Measure A Oversight Committee as well. We will probably be meeting with them later this year toward December to move forward the remainder of the Measure I work, as well as starting to begin with Measure A. And then lastly, you have the acceptance of the underwriters G17. That is a regulatory disclosure required from underwriters We are sticking with Siebert, Williams, and Schenck. They have assisted the district throughout measures H, S, and I. We'll continue to assist with measure A. And given the volatile market, we are happy to have them as a partner for a negotiated sale. And the G17 letter, which you will see included in items 6A3 and 6A4, is their disclosure of potential conflicts of interest and other regulatory matters which are required under Securities and Exchange Commission law. Here you see our projected repayment schedule for Measure A. This was prepared a couple of weeks ago. I think as everyone is aware, we are in volatile markets. But here you will see we are planning to issue the full 70 million with the final maturity in 2053 and a rough repayment ratio of about 1.88 or 88 cents of interest for every dollar borrowed. And so tonight you will have a resolution. I will let Pavlik kind of speak to that resolution and the other documents you have for both the issuance of Measure A and the refunding.
Good evening. My name is Palak Taneja. I'm an attorney with Orrick, Harrington and Sutcliffe, bond counsel for the district. Like all prior issuances, board authorization to issue Measure A bonds is facilitated through the approval of an authorizing resolution. The authorizing resolution sets forth the issuance parameters such as the maximum interest rate, the maximum interest cost of the bonds. The resolution also approves as to form documents, which include your paying agent agreement, bond purchase agreement, and the preliminary official statement. The paying agent agreement is an agreement between the district and the paying agent bank to engage the services of the paying agent to distribute tax proceeds from the county for payment of the bonds. The bond purchase agreement is the agreement between the district and the underwriter, and it memorializes the terms of the sale of the bonds. The preliminary official statement is the offering document that is provided to potential investors, and it contains all the information on the bond terms, finances of the district, and the local economy. I will be available at the end of the presentation to answer any questions regarding the structure of the financing or the legal documentation. I will hand it over back to Michelle.
And so again, you have the resolution which approves the asked to form documents. Again, we fill in those blanks through the process as we know what the interest rates are. We finalize the information, and that preliminary official statement is also finalized with the latest financial information of the district, which would include potentially unaudited actuals by the time we get to that. Here you'll see a very quick visual representation of Measure A. The darker bars are the principal payments anticipated, the lighter bars are interest, and we show in the red line against the red scale on the right our projected tax rate of 2750. This is just to show that under current assumptions we can fit everything in. And really at the analytical level, since really planning for Measure A, financial markets have seen increased volatility with elevated interest rates. Current financial market volatility really is resulting from inflation concerns and Middle East conflict and has resulted in a spike in interest rates recently. We'll show you a chart of that here in a moment. And while macroeconomic conditions are impacting borrowing costs, we did take several steps, including that provision of the estimate levy, to sort of get ourselves into a better position to have the most efficient loan possible. And the steps will allow for the bond repayment to begin sooner, keeping those costs down in a slightly elevated interest rate environment. We also have formal tax-based information from 26-27 that is yet to be released by the county. So we are using an assumed growth rate of 3% for the 26-7 year and the information I'm showing you tonight. But I would say between the time I prepared this and the time we're actually presenting, I do actually have the formal, not formal, but preliminary assessed valuation growth assumption, 6.4% for 26-7, which exceeds our 3% by a decent margin and will allow us to pay more principal sooner, make this loan a little bit more efficient than you see in the numbers reflected today. But as reflected again, at roughly 88 cents of interest for every dollar borrowed. A true interest cost or blended interest rate for that issuance is projected to be 4.55%. And we do have good faith estimates in the back of those resolutions that you can look at to show kind of what the numbers might look at based upon market conditions as of August 5th. Want to take the next bit of time here just to talk about the refunding that is being proposed as well, and that is before you as item 6A4. We do refund bonds periodically, and most bonds are issued with a 10-year repayment ability, so that when you get to year 10, you can repay those bonds sooner and take advantage of a lower interest rate environment and a shorter duration. And so we have roughly $40 million of previously issued bonds in Measure H and S, which are eligible for refunding as of August 1, 2026, basically allowing for a lower interest rate. Those include the 2016 Measure H, Series 2016 and 18, as well as the Measure S, Series 2018. Under state law, we cannot refund bonds unless they produce a savings for taxpayers. There is no such thing as a negative kind of refunding in California. And while markets are volatile at the time of the estimate, we were looking at savings of roughly $3.5 million. I would note a few of the bonds that were issued previously are low enough in interest rate, they don't make sense to refund. We'd leave them outstanding. So roughly about 30 million of that 40 million that I discussed from those three previous series makes sense in this environment right now. And refunding a prior series, again, is conducted really to create efficiencies and create savings. And at the same time, with us issuing Measure A, we can combine those two into basically a single transaction. So we're only doing the actions and activities one time. There will be a shared preliminary official statement, that is that offering document, essentially allowing us to do the refunding and the issuance at the lowest cost possible in terms of issuance costs. We would recommend that we proceed with that refunding so long as we can save at least $3 million. That's roughly 10% of the 30 million that would be eligible for refinancing under current market conditions, and I think generates a meaningful savings for taxpayers over time. If we, for some reason, find the markets get away from us, we would simply put the refunding on hold and wait until markets improve to execute. Why do we refund bonds? It's very much like your home mortgage. When we issue these bonds, they usually have a 25 to 30-year term. After 10 years of repayment, the remaining term is 15 to 20 years. And similar to going from a 30-year mortgage to a 15-year mortgage, you simply have lower rates for shorter duration borrowing. That really is the crux of what we're saying here on this slide. So right now, given the potential issuance, Measure A, if we're successful, we could mitigate tax rates from this refunding starting in 27, 28, would highlight the 26, 27 tax roll is already finalized. We can't impact those rates at this time, but the savings will begin to be recognized starting in the next tax year. Here you see a projection of those savings. While it's not a huge amount in any given year per 100,000, I would note that your average property value here is somewhat high at about $591 of assessed value. And so each year it comes out to about $11.50 of savings, totals up to just under $200 for your typical house here in the Ravenswood area if the refunding does work. So looking forward to potentially reducing those previous obligations, improving on our repayment ratios from the past. And really the process for refunding is no different than your issuance process. We will approve a resolution. There are as to form documents, a similar paying agent agreement, a similar bond purchase agreement. The one extra agreement you will find is the escrow agreement, which tells us exactly how to apply the refunding proceeds to repay previous bonds. All of those agreements, very similar to your new money Measure A issuance, are as to form with blanks in them to be filled in. And approval of that resolution does not commit us to executing the refunding. It simply allows us to. If we cannot meet the savings targets, again, we would not proceed with that refunding piece. Final bit here is I wanted to show the issuance related costs broken down by the proposed new money and the refunding and the combined total. That you will see here, all of these costs are payable from bond proceeds. The one highlight I would indicate here is the district rating has been moving up, and depending upon the rating outcome, we may be able to forego the use of bond insurance if our rating gets high enough, which would eliminate those costs from this estimate. My last piece is this market update, and just want to show you kind of where the markets have been. This is looking back to 2023, and you can see off to the far right as we get closer here. I will slow down. And if you look there at the far right, you can see the impacts of the conflict in the Middle East, basically causing rates to go up and down based upon the headlines of the day. We are in that period right now. And so while we do have a plan, that plan may need to be modified in terms of our actual time for selling bonds just because of market volatility. that really is kind of the consideration on the market I wanted to highlight. There's some more information on markets here if you are interested in looking at it. But in summary, again, congratulations to the district on the successful passage of Measure A. The district's done great work with that, and we now have the opportunity to potentially save some of the costs associated with repaying Measures H and S through a refunding. With the board actions tonight, we will continue to move the issuance process forward, again, targeting an October closing. Happy to entertain any questions you may have now or during the actual items themselves.
Thank you so much, Mr. Green. Any questions from the board? I'm looking at your face. Any questions from the board or any speakers on this topic? It's pretty straightforward.
No speaker cards.
Okay.
Thank you. Very thorough.
I had a question about that interest, but I'm gonna, yeah. Okay, so with that, the presentation's done, so then we'll consider the other items under this, under item number 6. So we'll start with 6A1, which is resolution number 27-3. Is that how I say that? It's 2703, which is declaring the results and certifying proceedings of school bond election held on June 2nd, 2026. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so again, considering item 6A1, resolution number 2703. So
I'll make a
do I have a
motion.
motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Well,
Oh, no. we'll wait.
Resolution number 27-303, resolution of the Board of Education of Ravenswood declaring the results and certifying the proceedings of school bond election held June 2, whereas, so on and so forth, it passed.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries 4-0. 5-0. You are here. Okay, we are on item 6A2, resolution number 2704. To establish a bond oversight committee and approving bylaws guidelines for conduct of the committee.
I move to approve resolution number 27-4.
Thank you.
Resolution number 27-4, resolution establishing bond oversight committee and approving bylaws and guidelines for conduct of the committee, whereas, so on and so forth.
All those in favor of approving this item, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries 5-0. On to item 6A3, resolution number 2705, authorizing the issuance and negotiated sale of $70 million of GO bonds. Do I have a motion to approve this item?
Through the chair, I move to approve item 683, resolution number 27-05.
I will second.
Thank you.
Resolution number 27-5, resolution authorizing the issuance and negotiated sale of not to exceed 70 million of the general obligation bonds, and so on and so forth.
All those in favor of approving this item, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0. And finally, item 6A4, resolution number 2706.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Resolution number 27-06, resolution authorizing the issuance and negotiated sale of the general obligation refunding bonds of the Ravenswood City School District in the amount not to exceed 40 million, I believe that's right, by negotiated sale, so on and so forth.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, and thank you again for being here with us and explaining all of this to us and overseeing our bonds and all the processes that go along with that. Okay, so I see someone clapping. Should we clap? Okay, we'll clap. Congratulations to the district and many thanks to the community as well for approving these bonds, which are much needed funds going to our lovely campuses. So thank you so much for your trust and your willingness and your vote Okay, so we're on to item 7, which is the consent agenda, which I just want to bring to everyone's attention that because we pulled item number 4 earlier, the public hearing on the Williams textbooks, that implicates item 7A3, resolution number 2707. And so we will need to vote to pull that item off of the consent agenda.
To pull item 7A3.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I will second.
All those in favor of pulling that item, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0. So that item is off, which will table, I imagine, when we bring to the next meeting, the public hearing. And with that, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda, all remaining items.
The chair make a motion to approve the consent agenda and main items.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And so now we are on our way to closed session. Do we have any members of the public who would like to address anything that we are expected to speak on that is agendized for closed session? No, trustee?
No speaker cards.
Thank you so much. And with that, we will adjourn to closed session at 7:17 PM. Thank you. Hello, we are reconvening open session at 8:09 PM. Report of action taken, item 9B. For closed session items, discussion was had for item 8A and 8B, and no action was taken for either one of those. Thank you. Item 9C, we don't have any board members absent today. Amen. And now we're at 9D, just information about our next regularly scheduled board meeting. We hope you will join us September 10th, 2026 at 6 PM here on Euclid Avenue in the boardroom. And finally, we're at 9E and we are adjourned at 8:10 PM. Thank you so much.